Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar entitled Helping Our Communities, USDA's Milk Donation Reimbursement Program. My name is Dave Carlin, and I'm the Senior Vice President for Legislative Affairs and Economic Policy at IDFA, and I'd like to welcome all of the dairy processors who are participating on today's call and extend a special welcome to our colleagues at MilkPEP and our friends at Feeding America and other food bank representatives who are also in attendance. IDFA and MilkPEP have partnered with Feeding America, which represents America's food banks and food pantries, to encourage USDA to purchase fluid milk that is then donated to food banks across the country. Moving to today's topic, Congress created the Milk Donation Reimbursement Program as part of the 2018 Farm Bill. The goals of this program are to reduce food waste and provide nutrition assistance to low-income families and individuals. Under the program, eligible dairy organizations partner with nonprofit organizations in their communities that distribute food to low-income individuals. The program reimburses qualifying partnerships for certain expenses related to fluid milk product donations, and Emily is going to explain how all of that works to us today. Before I introduce Emily, however, I have a few housekeeping items that I need to cover. All lines on the phone today have been placed on mute. Questions can be submitted via the chat bubble throughout the webinar and will be answered during the question and answer session at the end of Emily's presentation. So for those of you who are new to the WebEx software, if you hover your mouse over the slides in front of you, a toolbar will appear near the bottom of the slide deck. The chat bubble is the icon in the middle of that toolbar. Please click on that icon and type in your questions at any time during the presentation. And the only people who will see your question are me and my colleague Victoria, who's helping me moderate today's call. At the end of the call, I'll pose your questions to Emily so that she can answer them. Finally, please note that this webinar is being recorded and will be available on the IDFA website, which is www.idfa.org, in the Knowledge Center area under the Resources tab. I would now like to introduce our presenter. Emily DeVord is the Senior Marketing Specialist in the Promotion, Research, and Planning Division of USDA's AMS Dairy Programs, and she'll explain how the Milk Donation Reimbursement Program works and how IDFA's members can participate. Emily grew up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and received a Bachelor of Science degree in Animal Science from Virginia Tech. She began her career at USDA in 2005 in the Livestock and Poultry Program, and we're delighted that she was subsequently promoted to work on dairy promotion issues. Emily, thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Dave. Good afternoon, everyone. As Dave said, I am Emily DeVord, and I want to thank IDFA for the opportunity to address all of you today on USDA's Milk Donation Reimbursement Program. Today, I will go over what the program is, why we have implemented this program, who is eligible to participate, what expenses are eligible, and how you can participate in the program. Here is my contact information. Please feel free to contact me with any questions after this webinar. Also included here is the MDRP website and the MDRP email address for you to submit any applications or information regarding this program. So what is the Milk Donation Reimbursement Program? The Milk Donation Reimbursement Program is a program authorized by the 2018 Farm Bill intended to encourage the donation of grade A fluid milk products, provide nutrition assistance to individuals in low-income groups, and reduce food waste. The program provides financial incentives to handlers who choose to process and donate milk. Basically, dairy processors can partner with nonprofit feeding organizations that serve needy populations to provide fluid milk donations. The program will provide limited financial reimbursement for part of their federal milk marketing order pool obligation, which are deemed as qualified expenses under this program. Processors cannot be reimbursed for other costs associated with providing donated milk, such as processing, bottling, storage, and transportation costs. The financial incentives offered under the program are designed to encourage more fluid milk donations and reduce food waste. Why did we implement this program? Around 2017 to 2018, there were milk surpluses in excess of what is normally observed. This resulted in milk sometimes being dumped instead of processed. It seemed a government program was needed that would provide an incentive and relieve some financial burden for processors to want to make more milk donations. In response, Congress provided in the Farm Bill a milk donation reimbursement program designed to reduce food waste and provide nutrition assistance to low-income individuals. More specifically, Congress designed this program to reimburse processors for a portion of their federal milk market order pool obligation, a factor that some processors indicated may have been deterring them from donating unused milk. How is the program funded? Congress authorized $9 million for the program in FY19 and $5 million per fiscal year thereafter for the life of the Farm Bill. AMS allocates the funds by a set deadline for each fiscal year. Additional funds will be allocated or adjusted as appropriate. We have reviewed and approved our first round of applications, but have remaining funds available. So, we are still accepting applications for both fiscal years 19 and 20. To clarify, the fiscal year is considered as any donations made between October 1st and September 30th. So fiscal year 2019 is the period of October 1st, 2018 through September 30th, 2019, and fiscal year 2020 is the period of October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020. The deadline for FY19 applications is May 1st, 2020. You may submit applications for milk you have retroactively donated during this period. The process is the same for FY20 applications for future donations, but you will provide an estimate on what you plan to donate during the 2020 fiscal year. For FY20 applications, we will accept these through October 30th, 2020, but encourage you to submit them as early as possible so you may continue to take advantage of the reimbursement process. Your applications for FY19 and FY20 may be nearly identical. Unless you have greatly increased or decreased your donations from FY19 to 20, the applications may be nearly the same and easy to submit simultaneously. Who is eligible to participate? This program requires the formation of a formalized partnership made up of an eligible dairy organization and an eligible distributor. An eligible dairy organization is a dairy cooperative or an independent dairy processor that incurs a payment obligation to a federal milk marketing order pool, which is considered a qualified expense under this program. An eligible distributor is a public or private nonprofit organization able to distribute donated milk to low-income groups, for example, a local food bank. The two entities must apply to AMS to become a participating partnership. The formal application process requires parties to explain and quantify their plan for donating and distributing fluid milk products through the partnership. What will AMS reimburse? The MDRP allows for reimbursement of up to 100% of the difference between the federal order Class 1 price at the plant and lowest classified price for the month. Only milk donations made by an approved partnership can receive reimbursement. Donated Class 1 fluid milk products, including flavored milk, must be produced and processed in the United States to be eligible for reimbursement under this program. Also, to receive any reimbursements on donated milk, the milk must be 100% donated. Milk that is sold to the food banks at a reduced cost or milk bought by the government through the USDA Section 32 Fresh Fluid Milk Purchase Program and delivered to food banks is not eligible for reimbursement under this program. How to participate. If you're interested in participating in this program, I would recommend visiting the MDRP website. This website offers all the information you need to determine if the milk you are donating is eligible for reimbursement under this program. I will highlight a few main points here to consider. First, ensure that you're a fully regulated plant on the Federal Milk Marketing Order System. If you aren't sure, please contact me and we can find out. Secondly, consider the partnerships you may form with entities for donating milk under this program. Are these organizations where you're already donating milk or you would like to donate milk? Do they have facilities to receive and distribute fresh milk? Are they providing services to low-income groups? Do they have a nonprofit 501c3 status? Third, our website has a commodity specifications document to ensure all donated milk meets specific requirements. I will go into more detail on this on the next slide. Lastly, the website contains a list of frequently asked questions, the Federal Register notice informing you of the details of the program, press press releases announcing new information or updates related to the program. And most importantly, the documents you need to apply to this program are available to you on the website. I will also go into more detail on the application process in the following slides. Commodity specifications. This is a 4-page document included on the website. It looks like the document on the slide on the left. If you're interested in donating, or on the right, I apologize, in donating milk, please review this document and ensure milk you're donating meets these requirements. I'll highlight a few of the items included in these specs. First, the donated milk must have a shelf life of at least 12 days. Milk that is donated because it is near expiration would not qualify under this program. Secondly, all donated products must be fluid milk products only, for example, a gallon or half gallon of milk. If you process and donate other dairy products such as yogurt or cheese, etc., these products are not eligible. All donated milk must be produced and processed in the United States. The document also contains information regarding expiration dates and plant code markings, etc. So at this point in the webinar, hopefully you're asking, how do I apply for this program? The application process includes 6 basic steps. Step 1, your organization will partner with an eligible distributor. Again, this is likely a food bank or another organization providing food to low-income populations. Step 2, you and the eligible distributor will jointly complete a milk donation and distribution plan available on our website, as well as a plant and distributor location information spreadsheet, also available on the website. The dairy organization and the eligible distributor will both sign the plan form, and then you will submit this to AMS for review via the mdrp@usda.gov email address. It's important to note here that you must submit an individual plan application form for each partnership you form for donating milk. For example, if you're XYZ Dairy Company and you partner with Feeding America, you only have to submit one plan application for this partnership, even if you donate to multiple Feeding America locations or you have multiple plants donating to a location. However, if you're partnering with Kansas Food Bank to donate milk and also donating milk to First Harvest Food Bank, you will need to submit separate plan applications for each of these partnerships. Step 3. Once AMS reviews and approves your plan application or applications, you have now formed a participating partnership for the MDRP program. Step 4 is actually donating the milk via the eligible distributor, unless you're applying for milk you have donated retroactively for FY19. Step 5, once the milk has been donated, you will provide additional information to AMS, including completing a reimbursement claim form and submitting some relevant documentation, such as processing and shipping records, bills of lading, storage records, and receiving records from the distributor. We will not require all of these documents, but you will be required to submit some form of documentation to verify that the donation was in fact made to the distributor and the amount indicated. Step 6, if approved, AMS will reimburse you for the expenses as outlined under the program. Completing the plan form. The Milk Donation Reimbursement Program Applicant Donation and Distribution Plan Form is again available on our website. When completing the form, you will be asked to provide contact information for your dairy organization, including a contact name, address, etc. You will be asked to provide an estimate of milk in pounds or gallons you intend to donate for the year. You will also be asked to request a rate of reimbursement up to 100%. Under this program, you are asked to indicate if you would like 100% of your eligible expenses reimbursed or a lower percentage. It is essential you complete both of these items on the application, as we use these numbers to determine the amount you will be approved for to receive reimbursement. An incomplete application will not be approved. Also, the eligible distributor will complete their contact information and, very importantly, include their tax ID number so we may verify their nonprofit status. And again, both parties will need to sign the application. In addition to each plan application you submit, you will need to submit the accompanying plant and distributor location information spreadsheet seeking the information here. Specifically, for the dairy organization, provide each plant name, address, plant class 1 differential for this area, and the name of the federal milk marketing order where the plant is regulated. For the eligible distributor, just the name and location addresses of the distribution places will need to be indicated. If there are multiple locations, please list them all here. With the current status of the federal government declaring a national emergency in response to the COVID-19 outbreak and local governments closing schools, USDA recognizes this will impact fluid milk processors who have milk contracts and school milk contracts and will not have milk sales to school feeding programs for an extended period of time. In light of this, USDA is reminding fluid milk processors that new plans are being accepted and approved plans can be adjusted to encourage more donations of fluid milk. Entities wanting to find out more information can please email me at mdrp@usda.gov to initiate the application or revision process. USDA is also reminding fluid milk processors that through this program, if they choose to donate milk to eligible nonprofit organizations, they can apply for some financial reimbursement for part of their federal milk marketing order pool obligation for the donated milk. If you find yourself in a situation where you are donating milk to feeding organizations during this time of national emergency, please contact me to see if you'll be eligible for reimbursement through this program. We are still accepting applications for both fiscal years 19 and 20. The deadline for FY19 applications, again, is May 1st, 2020. And for FY20 applications, we will accept these through October 30th, 2020. If you already have an approved FY20 plan, but think you may increase your donations due to the recent events, please contact me so we can work to amend your plan. Approved partnerships will then begin to submit claims for reimbursement of eligible expenses related to approved fluid milk product donations. Thanks so much for your time today. I hope this information was helpful, and I encourage any of you who may be interested to participate in this program or to reach out to me with any questions. I'm happy to work with each of you individually on your specific plan application. I've included the program website and the email address where you can reach me again on this slide. At this time, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Emily. That's very helpful, and we do have a number of questions from folks who have sent those in via the chat feature. So just a reminder, if you haven't submitted a question and you still have a question, feel free to submit those. I'll start working through the ones that we have in front of us now, and then we'll get to your questions a little later. First question, Emily, that we got was, what about donations that took place in 2018? I assume the answer is if they took place on October 1st, 2018 and beyond, they'd be covered, but anything before that time, October 1st, is not eligible. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And that's just because of the way the program was structured in the Farm Bill, correct?
That's correct. The program was published in the Federal Register, and the funding began in FY19, which began October 1st, 2018. So, unfortunately, donations that were made prior to that date would not be eligible.
Okay. Another question that was posed is, what price would organic milk be reimbursed at, since it's different than conventional milk?
So they're eligible for the difference in the Class 1 price and the lowest class price. So it's the same price. There's not a difference between conventional and organic. It's just the price, the difference in the price that they paid into the federal milk marketing order pool. There's no difference for organic milk.
Okay. Another question that a participant asked is whether aseptic milk is eligible to be part of the program.
Yes, aseptic milk would be eligible for the program, absolutely.
Okay, great. What happens if I noticed in the Farm Bill you've got funds provided, $9 million for the first year and then $5 million throughout the life of the program, which I believe is a total of 5 years, 5 fiscal years. What happens if you don't use all the money in a particular year? Does it roll over to the next year, or does that money go back to the Treasury and is sort of lost?
Yes, the money does roll over to the following years through that 5-year period, through the life of the Farm Bill. Beyond that, I couldn't say.
Great. We had a question, and this I think came in before you got to this part of the presentation, so you may have already answered it, but I'll give you a chance to elaborate a bit on it. a question regarding the examples of the types of invoices that you would need to submit for reimbursement under the program. And I think you touched on this in a later slide, but if there's any other information you want to share there, that's of interest to our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're looking for there is some sort of evidence that you donated the milk, the amount of milk that you indicated on the date indicated to the eligible distributor. So whether or not that's a bill, a receipt, a form that they fill out, we're a little flexible, but we need some sort of verification that that milk was in fact donated in the amount indicated.
Yeah. I can understand sort of how that would work in terms of the estimate truing up with the actual donation amount. What you kind of alluded to that here. What about the date of the donation? How close in time does that need to be from sort of the application to when it actually occurred?
So the application, if I understand your question, the donation needs to be. We definitely want to know the date that it was, but it needs to be within. Each application is for one fiscal year, so it needs to be within that fiscal year period. Is that answering your question?
I think so. I think what I was trying to get at was when you fill out your form in advance and you're not exactly sure when that donation would be, I guess you'll just true that up when you send in the invoices. That'll be cleared up then as part of that process.
Well, we would need the date that the donation was made because the class price changes monthly. So we would need to know the date that it was made.
Right.
The date that it was donated will matter to determine the amount of reimbursement based on that class price for that month.
Great. No, that makes total sense. Okay. We've also been asked if there's any information that AMS can provide about the processors and or the food banks that are already participating in the program. I think we've got processors who are interested in knowing more about, how to partner up with food banks in their communities and whether they're already working on or part of the program. And also we've had a question from a food bank about how they could find interested milk processor partners. So what's your thought on that? What's the best way to get these folks together to move this forward?
That's a good question. We don't provide a list of food banks or of milk processors in the area. Possibly reaching out to other industry folks. We don't have that information, unfortunately, to provide, but there may be, I'm not sure if IDFA or any of the industry folks may be able to help food banks make some of those connections.
That's a good point. I think we can provide that service on the processor side. So I would encourage food banks who are on this call and processors that are interested in participating. If the barrier to your participation is finding a partner in your community, let us know, because I think we can work with you to help match people up in that space and make that work. I have another question here. Can we start submitting forms now for reimbursement? I think the answer is yes. Is that right?
Yes. If you have an approved plan, we have approved that. Hopefully we've been in contact with you. There are a few other steps that you need to go through to become an established recipient for funds, and I'd be happy to work with you individually on that. Hopefully you will or have received that information.
Okay, very good. A couple more questions that have come in. Are there opportunities for plants that are partially regulated to participate in this program?
There are some opportunities for partially regulated plants. It depends on if they have a federal order obligation for the sales within the federal order marketing area. So that would probably, in those situations, it would be easiest for you to contact me individually. We can figure out where you're processing and distributing milk, where your federal order obligation is, and if milk donated would be eligible.
Okay, great. And we have a final question from a food sourcer at a food bank wanting to know more about the federal milk marketing order pools and what how that might impact their ability to participate in this program, that's probably something that maybe they could call you about offline. Would that be more efficient than explaining that on this call, or what would you like to do there?
Yeah, I think it would be best for them to go ahead and contact me, and we can have a meeting with them to explain the federal order program. There may not be enough time on the webinar today.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Emily, we really appreciate your taking the time to be with us today, especially given all that's going on out there. And I know you're working remotely, and we really, again, are very thankful that you were able to dial in and to be part of this discussion. Just remind everybody on the call today that we will be posting a recorded version of this webinar to our website under the resource page, the Knowledge Center page. So if you want to replay it or refer colleagues to it, it's on the public part of the website, and everybody can access that. So with that, I'll conclude today's webinar. And again, thank everybody for dialing in, and thank you, Emily, for your presentation.
Thank you, Dave.